The news in details. The Ministry of Education has promised the Parliament that by the end of August this year, the University of Rwanda will have a complete list of its assets, and in the near future, some of its assets will be handed over to the private sector for proper management. Now, the Ministry of Education, Dr. Valentine UWAMARIYA, said this while appearing before the General Assembly of the Chamber of Deputies on Tuesday, where she had been summoned to give a verbal explanation on the issues of mismanagement of finances and resources at the University of Rwanda. Ethan Tashabia has more on this report.
The issue of mismanagement of finances and assets at the University of Rwanda is not new, based on various reports from the Auditor General.
Natangiye gukora audit y'university ngiye ubwanjye Deputy Auditor General muri 2007.
I started auditing the University of Rwanda when I was the Deputy Auditor General in 2007. I would drive from here to Bulletin and back with a big team of 22 auditors. From that time until now, I know what happens there. The audit opinion report always reflected on the unsustainable management of their assets. A recent report by the Auditor General of 2019 and 2020 shows that out of 105 plots of land owned by the University of Rwanda, 55 have no land deeds. Some MPs find this to be an issue of mismanagement of property by the university authorities. They do not have a list of fixed assets owned by the university. The only list available is of the fixed assets of Huye campus. While some of these assets are lying dormant and others are not being repaired, neither are they properly managed. We do not know what happened. For such a big institution not to have proper records of their assets is a big problem. Commenting on the mismanagement of finances and assets at the University of Rwanda, the Minister of Education, Dr. Valentine UWAMARIYA, reassured the General Assembly of Lower House that the issue would be resolved by August this year. There was no registry to show the exact number of fixed assets. The private company Landmark is currently registering all assets of the university, and the exercise will be concluded in August. On the issue of plots of land, about 95% of these are well known and will be registered. It is just about 21 plots of land that are not consolidated into the records of the university, as they are registered under several government agencies such as the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Environment. That will be addressed because the records are available. On the issue of certain dormant assets, citing the example of some of the Huye campus buildings, the Minister of Education revealed that there is a plan to hand over the buildings to the private sector to utilize them, and in so doing they will generate revenues to the university. In Huye district, while we have many properties that require renovation, the University of Rwanda is currently working with Rwanda Housing Authority and the district administration to ensure that some of these properties are privatized and redeveloped in accordance with the new district master plan. In an effort to improve the financial and assets management as well as its services, the University of Rwanda recently appointed 11 new employees with specialized knowledge and skills in financial and assets management, who are expected to help the university change its audit books, which have already damaged the image of the institution's financial, property and procurement departments. Reporting for RwandaTV News, Ethan Tashabia.
Thank you, Ethan, for that report. Now, as Rwanda works to contain the increase of COVID-19 infections, health experts are calling upon parents and students to remain vigilant as they go back home for holidays to play a role in the mitigation of the pandemic by continuing with the current prevention strategies even while at home. Gloria Mutesi has more.
As measures were taken to contain the spread of the coronavirus, so did the schools, through the Ministry of Education, change the time frame within which the students would be in school. The third term is now closing in a few weeks after students being at school since April 2021. Some students say they plan to continue with the measures while educating themselves more about the virus.
Oh, because at school we don't get more information about outside what's going on, but then few information that we get, we just know that we have to go away from people outside, and then be ready to go and prevent how to spread this virus that is coming, and to make sure that we are going to be the role model of our parents, so that we can show the students that outside that we are different, and we have to show them that we are from school and we have known something big that is helping us to prevent this virus and spreading away.
School administrators, on the other hand, say they are concerned that students are going back home at such a critical time, but are hopeful that through partnerships with parents and education and health authorities, they will be able to contain the virus transmission.
The concern is always there, because when we open, we'll be receiving students from different places and different districts. And even the cases, the way we see cases, they also differ according to the districts. You find many cases in Kigali, many cases in Rubavu, and we have students who are coming from all those areas. So in fact, when we will be opening, I think with the help of our government and the Ministry of Health, probably there will be probably testing, or we'll continue to have those measures of of prevention.
Dr. Menelas Nheshimana, the COVID-19 case management subcell lead at the Rwanda Biomedical Center, says through the collaboration and initiative, it should be the students' responsibility to protect themselves and their family members.
So we hope that the students, as now they come for holidays, they have a plan for their holidays that is compatible with COVID-19 preventive measures. Many things have been done in the past whereby students will understand that during holidays you can just have parties with your friends, you can go on tour, you can go by the lecture. We have many places that are very attractive to them, but we want them to consider that we are in very difficult times. They should postpone what they think can be postponed. Even ourselves, we have made many sacrifices. We do most of our meetings online. Why not students doing their e-meetings with their peers? I hope that all of them, they own Android phones. They can just meet with their friends online and avoid crowded environment. I also want them to consider themselves as potential spreaders of the virus, because kids in general, they can transmit the virus very easily because of their high mobility. So considering that, they should maximize on their efforts to protect their families.
Dr. Menelas also points out that the plans for mitigation will continue even as the students are home, and measures will be taken accordingly even as they resume their studies after the holiday.
Yeah, after the holiday, of course, the surveillance continues irrespective of the school calendar. Like those who will be returning to school being contacts of positive cases, those who will be returning to school with obvious symptoms, it is understandable that it's safe that they first report to their nearby health center for testing. They have themselves to understand that it's a must for the common good, like they have to protect their community. So they should be able to go to the health centers, get tested before they join the rest of the students. Because even among themselves, they don't share the same risk. We have students who have asthma, we have students who have other chronic diseases that would make them more vulnerable to the virus.
The Ministry of Health cited schools as potential spreaders of the COVID-19 virus and called upon people to step up efforts to avoid extreme measures that might result into another lockdown. Gloria Mutisi, reporting for RTV News.
Now, a cross-section of hospitals have recorded a growing number of premature babies and children born with respiratory diseases, amongst other complications. Doctors say this is within a span of the last 3 months. However, the Ministry of Health says this is not the case. Fiona Babazi has more on this report.
These mothers have been at Muhima Hospital for the last 3 to 10 days postpartum. I came here on the 5th of this month. I have been here for 3 days. Spending days in this hospital after childbirth is said to have been due to the fact that the children were born with health complications. I gave birth on the roadside. I had a premature baby and I felt like I had a problem, but I only got here in the morning and the baby was born. In In the pediatric ward at Muhima Hospital, especially the neonatology, a growing number of premature babies and newly born babies with respiratory complications have been noted, a thing that is also seen at Nyamata Hospital. The average of the children who have come here in the last 3 months is at least 145, and these are all newborn babies. From April to May, it is clear that we have had an increase in children with various complications compared to other months. There's not a big change. This is a short-term number compared to other months. But this is a task, of course, which needs us to be very careful and give them medicine and respiratory assistance and also ensure that they're healthy. And that's why we are calling on parents to always go for prenatal checkups and keenly follow the doctor's orders. Within the last 1 month at Muhima Hospital, premature babies rose from 120 to 145. While 880 of the newly born have complications. At Nyamata Hospital, premature babies rose from 90 to 150 within 1 month. Out of the newly born, recorded in both hospitals, at least 10 to 14 of them need respiratory support. The Ministry of Health records, however, show that premature babies and those born with the complications have not exceeded 1,000 in number, and that still stands from the previous years.
On Tuesday, the President of the Senate, Honorable Auguste UWAMARIYA, received the Ambassador of Sweden in Rwanda, His Excellency Johanna Tig, to discuss the strategies for development cooperation between both countries. Gabi Muvunyi has more.
Rwanda has a long-standing partnership with Sweden in areas of development cooperation. On Tuesday, the President of the Senate of Rwanda received the Ambassador of Sweden in Rwanda, Johanna Tig, in his office. The two sides discussed sustainable solutions on current projects. The President of the Senate notes that there is a lot of building interest between both countries and encourages more investors to come to Rwanda. We have agreed to work together as the Parliament of Rwanda, specifically the Senate. We have also agreed to partner on a friendship level where we will discuss various issues as well as pay cordial visits between the countries. Another thing is we shall put more efforts in investment and businesses. There are many other associations in Sweden that the ambassador will continue to support and even attract so that those associations may come here. The Ambassador of Sweden, Johanna Tig, recognizes the need to work strategically and effectively to strengthen the ties between both countries.
Spoken about the establishment of a friendship group here and how they can talk about topics of joint interest. The Honourable President also brought up the topic of corruption, and if there's anything we can do there. I mean, for the Swedish side, we have a lot to learn from Rwanda, and we also have joint interests both here and on a global scale that we can work on together.
Sweden already has a partnership with Rwanda in the field of education, where it offers partnerships for postgraduate students, and has already awarded more than 75 PhDs. These partnerships also include areas of peacekeeping, contributions towards principles on gender equality, and other various developmental cooperations. In the beginning of 2020, the Swedish government decided on new strategies for development cooperation with Rwanda, increasing the volume of development cooperation by 40%. Gabi Muvunyi for RTV.
Well, there you have it. On behalf of the entire news production team, thank you for staying with us. I'm Jane Mutoni. Good night.